Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the team validation report. And I know right now I'm posting this and you're still working on the industry report and you're freaking out that more assignments are coming. Welcome to the workforce. So this is just so that you can get an idea of what's going on. It is a good idea to watch this before because it will give you hints on the industry report. But also, even though you look forward, you still have to keep in mind of what's in front of you. So just work at what you're doing, but keep in mind what's coming. It's just a good skill to have, and finding ways to work with that time management. Look into, just do a Google search for Gantt charts. Gantt charts are really good, and just some of the tools I've mentioned in other videos for teamwork of how to manage that. It's just something good to look into to help manage. All right. So for this assignment, you've done your industry report, you've done your proposal. And what this validation report essentially is being able to go back and touch on some ideas that maybe you've changed or didn't get to visit in the industry report because there was so much information, or even follow up on some criticism that's come back. So says, just for example, in your proposal or in your industry report, you may have made some claims and I may have left a comment saying, well, I don't see it, I don't get it, I don't believe it. This is your opportunity, if you choose to do so, to kind of double down and say, no, this is why we believe this, and to substantiate it, to have some claims and reasoning, not just to say, no, it's a good idea, but to do the research and back up the claims you're making. It also gives you an opportunity, in the proposal you were directed at me, perhaps you want to address to someone else, address to a different audience. And so that gives you that opportunity. And maybe you just want to ask for money. Like maybe this is just an idea you really want to run with. And so just making that persuasive argument of why you should get this financing as opposed to some of the other groups. And just overall, it's about that persuasion. How are you convincing me or convincing my bosses to fund this idea, which requires persuasion? It's not just a matter of I want, it's a matter of requesting, but also proving that you should have this financing. Okay, so the format, it's basically going to be 4 pages of text. You use a direct informative format, but if you also want to be persuading, so you can merge these styles. So you can still have a direct informative, but use elements of persuasion within everything. And I believe I even posted an example of that, of where it's very informative, but it's still persuading at the end. So it's layering the 2 styles within each other. You must include a stakeholder analysis. So what a stakeholder analysis is going to be is whoever you're proposing that this, in your proposal, who is affected. Now, you don't need to go through every single person that's affected. But suppose you were starting a school. So students you need to take into consideration, teachers, admin, government officials. So who are the major people being affected by whatever your proposal is? And you need to do an analysis on that. This affects teachers in such a way. This affects principals in such a way. What is the impact of your proposal? So we just don't make proposals. We have to take into consideration how it's going to affect everyone. You're also going to include a dashboard. Now, what a dashboard is just graphs and tables, something that you may have included in one of your as an appendice, but just a quick look so that someone who was not interested in reading your report can take a quick look and still get a lot of information out of it. And then your conclusion. So your conclusion should be the persuasive element of your argument. Why should your project be greenlit or funded? And so that's how you want to include your persuasive element at a minimal level. So this is an example of a dashboard. So just having some quick graphs and a table, and I suggest actually using this format. Have some graphs, have some explanation, maybe a table, and then a quick paragraph or something, just kind of explaining what's going on, providing that analysis to guide people to the thought process that you want them to have. Remember, the important elements of this is going not only beyond the formatting and keeping those key elements as far as a grade, but just as having a good document, keep in mind who your audience is. So keep in mind the difference between like your direct informative, which is very formal, and the indirect persuasive, which you got to have a little fun with. If who you're proposing to is a little more casual, it's a commercial type thing, your style is going to be different than the direct informative. Now keep in mind, I'm your audience. My bosses are your audience. So there's going to be some formality. Now, I know you've already presented an industry report in your proposal, but you are going to want to take time to briefly remind me of what's going on. You're also going to want to introduce new information. So, do not just simply redo one of the other assignments. Go ahead and just present whole new information. And use your resources. Check the examples. Look at IBIS World. Find your own examples. Maybe even commit to doing a short study, some questionnaires. That is what's going to enrich your reports versus just the standard, I looked this up, I'm just going to repeat to you, an encyclopedia type paper. So what should you do now is at this point, you should go back and review both the industry report and the proposal, review the comments, do some new research. I guarantee you that is going to be the biggest impact on your documents is how are you continually evolving, as opposed to are you just taking the same 4 sources that you're using over and over and just telling me the same thing. Because what that says to someone that has to read your report is that you want me to use up my time, but that you're not willing to put in the time to offer anything new. And strategize. Figure out on your team how you want to approach something. What are the tools you want to use and engage to persuade this project to be greenlit? So as always, I'm available for questions. You can make an appointment with me to discuss your strategies. But other than that, that's going to be the project. And good luck.